Well, I think we're going to have to start this with the obligatory, did you know that Pirate Software worked at Blizzard?
A better you starts today.
Because I didn't, I genuinely didn't, and wow, what a cool guy. Look, I understand that there are a lot of people out there that find it fashionable to make fun of Pirate Software, and I would like to say to those people, can you let me in on your little coding nerd antics? I don't know what the hell you're talking about. Look, I have tried to follow this to the best of my ability. I can't because I'm stupid. And as a result of that, I can tell you from an outsider idiot's perspective, it does sound like Pirate Software knows what he's talking about, especially because of his extremely authoritative American voice. But people claim that he doesn't know what he's talking about. And I am not qualified to know if they do not. But the general thing that seems to be happening with Pirate Software is what we were discussing in the previous video before. And he says, I cannot talk about his gaming. I'm not even at the gaming part, like coding for gaming. I can't talk about any of that stuff. What I can say is that it seems like the entire internet is angry at him because he is not capable of admitting that he's wrong, which we were talking about before, is something that very smart people often fall into the trap of, because they are smart, they are intelligent, that is their thing in life. It's kind of like Michael Jordan missing a basketball hoop. That'd suck, wouldn't it? Especially when heaps of people are watching. That would hurt him more than all of the Chicago Bulls fans. You don't even know who Michael Jordan is, do you, bloody Zoomers? Isn't it weird that Pirate Software is your Michael Jordan? But look, we will say, Pirate Software, it seems, has this death by a thousand cuts problem that is happening to him now, which is that, especially because of the type of audience that he has, which is unfortunate for him. And man, I'm so fortunate that I don't have them as an audience. Holy hell, the autism. Could you imagine? Could you imagine trying to appease and also be the authoritative voice for that level of weaponized autism? Coders. Coders. I mean, they're basically hackers, right? Their entire existence, their egos would be fed off trying to find the little problems in your coding. And apparently they're always just like, shit. But I'm not really sure. Again, I can't really comment on that. Yep. What I can say is that it seems like a big problem with him is not so much that he's done anything that is particularly inexcusable, that people see him in this light of, you're a terrible person. It's mostly just a thing of all these people saying, just say you're wrong about something. Just one thing. Generally, it seems like people kind of still like him, right? There's no real hateable element about that guy. It's more just this thing of like, I know everything. That's about it. And the thing is, look, from his perspective, because I'm too dumb to know. I'm too stupid. Let's just assume that he is right about everything. Let's assume he is right about absolutely everything. This is what you will notice about anyone that is a successful politician throughout all of democratic history. It doesn't matter who's right. The customer's always right. Yeah? Do you see what I'm getting at with this? I think that at some point in your life, there will come a time when you have to bend with the reeds. In fact, this actually reminds me a lot of King Charles II. I don't know, I just got really obsessed with him for some reason. I think it was because Pirate Software's hair sort of looks like his, but just in a more basement-dwelly way. It doesn't have the nice little waves in it. But there's a reason that King Charles I got his head beheaded, and then his son, King Charles II, didn't. And that was because he was able to bend with the reeds. He was able to do something that what the Tao Te Ching says is, be like water. You know? I'm sure that as a mighty king of England, he felt that he was right and indignant about everything. But he understood that there are other power sectors, such as British Parliament, for instance, that you have to appease. And appeased he did. He put his foot down when it mattered. And that seems to be one of the big points of wisdom in life. One of the big confinements. When somebody asks me, when is someone wise? I think that wisdom is an accumulation of experience, yeah? And experience points, let's just say, for the gamers that are watching this. It's an accumulation of experience points. And when you accrue enough of these experience points, you level up in wisdom. That's pretty much it. I think that wisdom primarily comes down to the ability to realize when it's when it's right to fold, when it's right to just let someone else have something, and when it's right to put your foot down. And the problem is, when you put your foot down every single time, there is always just going to be rebellion, which seems to be what's happening with Pirate Software now. There seems to be rebellion amidst his midst, in his noble kingdom. I think that, honestly, a lot of this would go by the wayside if he could go by the wayside every now and then. Not that I can talk. I'm definitely not perfect at this. But through years and years and years of being online, you realize what fights are worth having and what fights aren't worth having, and what fights, when it's okay, I'll let you have that point, you know? It is a really, really, really bad way to go through life, thinking that you have to prove yourself right about everything. You will end up being despised. Every time. Regardless. Because it just basically goes down to something that is like encoded. Look at all of these evolutionary terms that just so happen to, you know, be computery. But there is something encoded in our coding, yeah? Which is that, it sounds like I'm being really patronizing the coders now, but I guess I am. Yeah, anyway, that's what you hate, isn't it? Triggered? But yeah, look, there is something that's just in our DNA, which responds to fairness. You've heard about the monkey experiment, yeah? Where one monkey gets all of these peanuts, and then the other monkey gets exactly the same amount of peanuts, and then the next time around, the other monkey gets half the amount of peanuts, and then it gets like one peanut, and the other monkey just keeps getting all of them. Even though the monkey is still getting one peanut, it has the ability to stop the other monkey from getting any peanuts at all, and itself. It has the ability. It has that button, and it'll press it, because it's not fair. That's the real thing that's happening there. There seems to be, at the end of the day, a point where even if you know that you are technically right, it's good to just show some wayside and leniency to the other person. That's it. Just to show some leniency. And it seems like, I don't know, his audience, for reasons that are beyond my mortal comprehension, are really, really pissed off at him just saying that his game is better than they think it is. And these kinds of things. All of these accumulations started building up. And he comes up with large, long stream responses, which pisses them off further. This is something that I think is going to probably happen in your life. There is going to be a point where you are going to get really indignant. You're going to say, no, I'm right. I'm putting my feet in the sand. That's happened to me many a time in my life. You know what I think back at all of them? Every single time. It's never made my life better. Not once. I'm just talking about monetary opportunity, yeah? Like, I will spend months of my life writing a revenge video to somebody that did me wrong in an article. Obviously, it would have been way better if I just didn't do that and instead focused on what was happening in the world. I would have had more growth. I certainly would have had more money. Probably not more esteem. People really like me, shitty god journalists. But the thing is, every single time, it's always better when you just bend with nature. It goes back to that Lao Tzu saying, be like water. It is the best way to go through life. Water is able to go and seep through the cracks. It's able to flow downstream. It goes with the current because it is the current. This is the way. You know what that's what Dao De Ching actually just means in English, by the way? It just means the way. And the inability to go past the impasse in life of that rigidity, which is the exact opposite. It's always talking about this, yeah? That young bamboo stays with the breeze. Old bamboo snaps in the wind because it's trying to resist against it. It's saying that the older things get, the stiffer they become. Dead things are stiff. Fresh things like babies, yeah. And that's what it's saying you should be more like. That is the way with nature. You are supposed to bend with it. There has been many an instance, I think anyway, every single time, there's many, many, many moments that I look at when I'm having an argument with someone and they're having an argument with me. And say our relationship entirely broke up. I can always trace it back to, no, I'm right, and that's that. Has it made my life poorer? Yes. Regardless. Even if I was right, it has made it poorer. There is a great saying, and I can't remember who said it, but this really red-pilled me. In fact, Bill Shorten showed it to me, yeah? He was just saying, here are my people, and I must follow them because I am their leader. And here are my people, and I must follow them because I am their leader. It's kind of the weird irony of life, really. The higher up you get, the more you realize that you are, if you want to stay there, you have to be more responsive to the people below. You're kind of just directing them to where they want to go. These are sort of just the weird inverted truths of life. That once you start following them, I'm telling you now, you will have less fights in life. Your life will be enriched more. Because there's sort of that hippie energy that goes with it, where it kind of just shows that, like, I am willing to give way, and as a result of that, people start giving way to you. And, as Henry Ford said, I would rather the efforts of 100, I would rather 1% of 100 men's effort than 100% of my own. Think on that. A lot of the times it is really, like, even if you think you're right, even if you are right, is it really worth the fight? And the answer is, I'm telling you now, at least 9 out of 10 times, absolutely not. You know, when somebody, I am around a lot of my life, because we just are in this environment. I'm around people that have big egos, that want things done their way, and every single time that I've just been like, all right, it's up to you, I could have gone the other way. And it would have just caused way more problems if it was just like, no, and we're both putting ourselves in the sand like that. There is a sort of leadership that goes with just allowing that conflict to dissolve. Anyway, what I'm saying is I think you should read The Doubted Chick. I also think that you should sign up to Jordan Shanks, where you will be getting 3 of these videos a week. These videos, obviously, are not going to be so heavily involved with slop. It's just going to be straight self-help, which, let's be honest, if you are watching slop, you need. Trust me, you need it. Because you need to be focusing on you. You do not need to be focusing on gossip of someone that you don't know. You need to be focusing on you. And for the low, low price of a coffee, I will show you the way. I've just read heaps of self-help books. And as a result of that, we're going to help you get to where you want to go in life. Doesn't that sound awesome? If it does, links below.